It was 1916. A few years into the war, I was in the army.
Gwyn's Shorts,
All Welsh Division.
Episode 4, The Tiny, 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 Tiny Scientist, Part 2. When Alan decided that it was too dangerous for tiny Gwyn to retrieve the mansion's key by himself, Gwyn ran away as fast as he could. But he was a scientist, not an athlete, and he soon had to take a break to catch his breath. That's when he realized that maybe Alan was right. Everything was too big around him. He was so tiny. How would he even manage to reach the shelves in the storage room? "I am going to fail them," he said out loud as he sat on the floor feeling defeated. That was until he jumped on his feet when he heard a voice addressing him. "Aren't you cute?" Gwyn looked up and saw a young woman staring at him. "Who are you? How did you find me?" "I'm Alysa, and I was kind of hoping to hide here, but the spot is obviously taken already. Wait, I know you." "You do?" Gwyn couldn't believe it. Usually no one knew who he was. "Yeah, you're that dude who invented time travel to save the love of his life, and you became a legend." "I suppose this is correct," Gwyn said, a bit disappointed that she didn't know him by name. "You look like you could need a friend," Alysa went on, and she picked up tiny Gwyn despite his complaints. "As a matter of fact, I know just the person who could help you." Alysa started walking, and tiny Gwyn noticed that she was quite sneaky. She seemed to have no problems avoiding the guards, and she even managed to break into one cell, much to the occupants' surprise. But Gwyn was even more surprised. "Miss Lizzie? I'm so happy to see you!" Miss Lizzie, also known as Zari 4.0, had jumped up from her bunk, ready to give the intruder a piece of her mind, when her eyes fell on tiny Gwyn, who was currently in Alysa's hand.
"Gwyn, is that you?"
Yes, it's me."
"But how? You know what? Never mind. What are you doing here? And by here I mean in my cell, not in prison. I know what you're doing in prison."
"Well, you see, Miss Lizzie, I had this idea that if I could find a blind spot, then Miss Astra could use her magic to turn me into a tiny version of myself. That way, I would be able to get one of the mansion's keys."
"And how is it going so far?"
"Well, if I am entirely honest, Miss Lizzie, I should have worked on the details of my plan a bit further. Now that I'm tiny, I realize there are way more complications than I initially anticipated." He looked quite disappointed in himself, and Lizzie gently held out her hand.
"Come here, let me give you a tiny hug. You seem to need one."
Alysa grinned at the mention of the tiny hug, and when Gwyn was safely on Lizzie's palm, she bid them goodbye. "I'll be off now, but if you need someone to help you break into the storage room, you know where to find me." Neither Gwyn nor Lizzie knew where to find her, actually, but they politely nodded. "Goodbye for now, Miss Alysa, and thank you very much for your help." Once Alysa was gone, she made sure to leave the cell's door open. Lizzie placed Gwyn on the bulk, and she sat down next to him before gently tousling his hair with one finger. "Ah, what are you doing, Miss Lizzie?"
"Giving you my version of a tiny hug. I can't exactly hug you properly, can I?"
"I don't think I like being tiny."
"And yet you're so cute."
"But that's not what is going to get me into the storage room."
"No, but you're not alone. I'm going to help you. Well, we are going to help you."
"We?" he repeated, a bit surprised.
"Yep, we. Me, Jennifer, and Ally. We managed to infiltrate the prison, or rather, we managed to get arrested, to assist the legends in breaking out."
She left out the part where they didn't plan anything past the point of being arrested.
"Come on, let's find them."
She placed tiny Gwyn on her shoulder, and she walked out of the cell while Gwyn tried to hold on for dear life. Maybe now was a good time to tell her that he had developed a fear of heights only minutes ago, when Alysa was carrying him about.